All right. Thank you for joining, guys. Welcome back to another session of VRIT. Today is 31st March, 12 past 3 o'clock p.m. PST. And what I want to do today is I wanted to teach you today, right? Table downloads. Okay. A lot of times what happens is my guys, they're supporting audit issues with no clue of what they're asking for. Okay. I have actually set up call. I mean, on the job as a part of the support, I spoke to several people, and most of them, they deal with this one point of time, and they have no clue where to go. Okay. So what is an audit, right? So what's an audit? You guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So what's an audit? So audit
Yes,
is
sir.
this. Yes. So what is an audit? Anybody knows what's an audit? Kamala?
Yes, Chief. Audit is a process where they check the accuracy of the data
Mhm.
of the financial, transactions or the reports that is being maintained by the company.
Okay.
It can be an internal audit or an external audit. Internal
Great.
audit is generally just to check, if everything is going as per the strategy or as per the plan,
Mhm.
as per the rules. And external audit is to know if the accuracy and the accuracy of the information is good for investors and everything for tax purposes and others.
Okay. So that's called audit, right? So to provide feedback and insight if the financial statements are stated and built in accordance with the specific criteria. What Kamala gave was more in a broader definition. I'm just trying to shrink this so that everybody know what it is. So we'll make it enlarge this so that everybody can see. Right. So what would they like to audit in SAP, right? As usual, what is SAP? SAP is a transactional data, right? SAP is what? SAP is what, Monsi?
It is a transactional data.
It's a transactional system. Why we call it transactional system? Punit?
Because it basically contains with different type of transactions.
Okay, Gopal, did you join? SAP Quota. Do you hear me, Gopal?
Yep, I'm hearing you.
Okay, you should speak up. Timmy? Timmy, do you hear us? Hear me. So why you join late, Gopal? I don't hear you, Gopal.
I was here right from the beginning.
Were you there? Okay.
Yeah.
And I was shouting, I was just screaming at who did not, give their name. Did you hear me that? I was asking whose name I did not call upon. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't listen.
So you didn't join on time. All right. So were you there when I do this?
Yeah, it was about to finish.
Just answer my question. Were you there when I do this? When I call this attendance?
I was here.
All right. So go ahead, Unit. You're saying something?
No,
Unit.
sir, I didn't say anything.
I asked you what is the transactional system?
Yeah, that's why I told you that, like, basically different SAP is like SAP is a system with a different transactional code. So it's basically a transactional system, not
Who can give the right answer?
it contains the master data. So
Who can give the right answer?
Can I try, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's a transactional system because we use it to record transactions. So, if the company has a transaction,
Mhm.
we use SAP to record those transactions, whereas in SAP, we don't analyze the
Exactly.
result, right?
Right. Because it records all the transactions. So I'm sure one point of time I told Harman or everybody else, right? SAP is a transactional system. It is not an analytical system. It is not a master data system. Okay. It is not, it is not built for just analytical purposes. It is a transactional system because all the transactions are posted into SAP, right? SAP collects all the transactions, records all the transactions. So that is why they need to audit this. So if people do not want to audit the reporting system, right? Because this is a source of truth. So source of truth goes into this system, right? That's why they want to audit. So what happens when they audit? So what are the things, some of the things they audit, right? The first thing is any fraudulent activities. Okay, they audit for fraudulent. What is a fraudulent? How do they know something happened in the fraudulent? Okay, the very, very important thing is no fraudulent activities are happening. How would they know? Okay, how would they know no fraud has happened? Can somebody tell me? It's a common sense. It's not SAP. How would you know no fraud has happened? A company is following the procedures and there's no fraud. How do you know?
Like under invoicing or fake transactions or something like that.
Right. And can you just elaborate what is fake transactions?
Like if somebody's trying to commit a fraud, I mean, he can enter the fake transactions
Mhm.
to steal money, something like that. Because the fraud is always related to money,
Mhm.
so they're gonna, or you can say they can put the wrong data into the system. Like
Mhm.
if a vendor charge you like $100 and they're gonna put $200 and get
Right.
commission from the vendor, something
Good.
like that.
Good point. Okay, good point. Uh, right. That's easy answer, and doesn't mean that others do not have a common sense, but that's the right answer, right? When it's a fraudulent something, somebody's messing up the system. Somebody's manually posting something, right? So manually fixing this. So in SAP, everything's automated. Most of the things are automated, right? When you sell, how do you when you pay to a vendor, okay, you have to have a good receipts, right? You have to have good receipts. You have to inventory. You have to have some expenses. Then you book the expenses. The vendor is set up correctly, right? It's not a third party, my uncle or auntie. Okay, he has his own all the the vendor registration number. That's why big companies have a lot of procedures to vet the vendor system, right? They will not just take anybody as a vendor. So that's why they got a preferred supply of vendors, preferred vendor, because these vendors are registered or well known, and they have a good ethical disclosure policies and so on. Okay, so when you want to make a payment to the vendor, you have to make sure that you have an invoice, the goods are received, and somebody counted this. There's a physical check has been done. The vendor is not free of, vendor is free of any other, the breach of trust or conduct or code of conduct and so on, right? Then you make a payment to the vendor. It's all automated. Now, if I just post a manual entry with no invoice received, with no goods received, it's a fraud, right?
Right.
I can set up my uncle or somebody and create an invoice for $1 million. The payment system will run and send the money to you. Correct? Number one. So what I want to say is any manual entries, okay, the auditor wants to know. Make sense? Anything you are doing manually, anything you are doing manually means you are kind of suppressing the system design, right? Correct? Right?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So basically, any manual entries. Okay, this is one of the highest priority auditing item. Make sense? There are several things.
Okay. Do
Yes.
you mean manual entries like literally like writing down on any books of the company, or you mean there will be a certain place in the SAP system to do it manually?
Can somebody answer the question?
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't get it.
I mean, does that manual entries mean literally like writing down in any company books, or there is some place in the SAP portal to do it manually?
Well, I think like any entry without any official approval is, and you enter into the system, that's going to be a fraudulent. Because if all the general vouchers and all the invoices must be signed by some authority, if those invoices or general vouchers are not signed by any authority, and you enter into the system, that could be considered as a fraudulent activity. That's what I think.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
I think in this case, it would be like, when we look at our P2P cycle, like when we have a purchase order and then we have good receipts, and then, if it doesn't follow that chain, and sometimes, for example, when the system's not working or something, you can try to post a manual entry, like you can pay a vendor which is not connected to a purchase order number. I think that's what is a manual entry. So it's not linked to like what we're exactly paying for.
Right. That is right. Both are right. Anybody else can add to this? Hitesh?
I mean, according to his question, he means that can you manually alter or enter invoice? Company maintains a physical book or something.
Yeah.
The company, like SAP system, just like you have a small business of accounting system, you enter invoices manually and stuff. Here, you can, everything is automated, but yes, you can enter invoices manually. You can post transactions manually. But you're not authorized to do that in a company. But yes, there are ways where you can manually alter that, but it's not advisable.
All right. Okay, Hemant.
Yeah, transaction entered by uh, altering the limit for the user or for the authorized person by altering the limit to pass the transaction. And if they will enter above that particular limit, that could be the fraudulent one.
Right. Okay, now let's check somebody's understanding. Unit.
Yeah, I would say like any entry posted without maintaining standards which is provided by company.
Good point. So everybody, yeah, good point. Anybody wants to add? That's excellent point. Yeah. Right. Everybody said, I'm very impressed with their answer. That's right.
That procedures to be followed by to record the transaction.
Right. So manual entries are something when I say manually posted into SAP, right? Like Harman said, there is a process in place. You purchase order place, right? You create a purchase order, you post a good receipts, right? You don't know who the system automatically creates an accounting entry. Nobody posts this. You only post a good receipt, right? Similarly, you post an invoice. When you post an invoice, you only credit the vendor, right? System will automatically pick up other data from this purchase order and create an accounting document. Let's say you don't create a purchase order, and let's say you have an invoice, but you are manually posting. It means without any connection to the purchase order, if you make an entry, that's called an invoice. That's called a manual invoice. Another very simple example is, let's say 7-Eleven. So you work in 7-Eleven, any store. You scan the item, the barcode gets scanned, and then it brings up the price, right? So that is exactly how much you pay for the product, right? Let's say somebody's tampering this and somebody manually going changing it. Let's say my friend is coming and getting a pack of Coke or beer. It's when I scan it says $12.99, right? That system automatically generates. Now, if I have the ability to go and change it and write off and just put 699 because he's my friend, that's called manual entry, right? That's a fraud.
Okay. Mhm.
So that's a system generated versus manual. Okay. The manual opposite is system generated. When I say manual, I think you went back to think about writing in a piece of ledger in a piece of paper and then putting under the pillow, right?
No, I just wanted to make sure what I'm understanding is right or wrong. Basically, about the book, or there is. Now I understood.
Okay, very important. So in that's called system generated versus manual. System generated, no problem. So how do you identify manual journal entry, right? How do you identify something is posted manually? How to identify? Okay, so there are several ways. Post a manual document posted, right? So usually you can do a username, right? If there's a username which is system ID, right? Username will be system ID, then you can find out, right? And most of the companies, right? They don't allow sensitive accounts, sensitive GL accounts to be posted manually. Any, can somebody tell me what is called sensitive accounts? Very easy.
Cash discounts,
Good.
taxes, currencies, foreign currency.
Okay. Right. Your revenue accounts, right? Somebody can alter the revenue, right? The revenue should be captured from the sales order. So nobody can post manually, right? Cash discount account is good. Even bank account. Well, bank account, you could say bank account. Inventory account, right? Very important. So that people do not alter your inventory, right? Inventory accounts. Revenue account, cash discounts account, inventory accounts, your APAR accounts, right? APAR accounts, subledger account generally. Right. These are called sensitive accounts. So the system has a practice, SAP has practice not to post anything manually, right? And anybody know what is bottom line? What's called bottom line? Have you heard about bottom line?
The net profit.
Okay, who said that?
Gopal.
Okay, so yeah, that's good. Why they call it bottom line?
Because this comes after all the transactions and once to pay the taxes. So that's the net income of the company.
Very good, very good. So that's called bottom line. The reason they call it bottom line is, in generally in a corporate term, they said bottom line, right? But we also use the very commonly use in a bottom line. When you say bottom line, the output. That's what we mean as an end result, right? In a common idioms and phrases, the bottom line means it's the end of the day, right? Or the output, or the end result, correct? Is that right, Sidhuja?
Yes, sir.
Right. So like Gopal said, he said very clearly, right? When you say
Yeah.
bottom line, your sales comes first, then you capture your total sales, then gross, that's the gross sales, then net sales, then you reduce your expenses, right? Then it becomes a profit. So profits comes in the bottom line, right? Profit and loss, right? That's why they call it bottom line, right? All right. So how do you find the manual journal entries? So typically a company would choose a document type, okay? Username will be system ID or a particular document type to be used for manual journal. Okay, typically a particular document type will be used for manual journal entries. So what is the document type? Unit? What's the document type?
Yeah, like document type is generally describes the format of the document, and it like particular document types are associated with different modules. Like for general ledger, like we are doing that ADKMS, right?
Mhm.
That's the document type.
That's account type. So what's the document type? What's the use of document type? Monsi?
Yes, Jay. I'm thinking.
Something like journal watcher or something like that.
Document types are for defining the accounting documents.
Mhm. Okay. What's the use of document type?
Document type defines the transaction, and also it decides the number ranges.
Correct. It defines the number ranges.
So I think it distinguishes the transaction.
Right. Yeah, that is document type. That's very anybody can say, right? It distinguishes the transaction document. The most important thing is it determines the number ranges. Okay. Now this is the question, auditing question. Okay. There's an audit request. So again, just to add more things, the auditors will be external auditor. They will come to your client place once in 3 months or after every quarter, or summer quarter, winter quarter, and so on. So these kids from the KPMG or PwC, they just graduated, and they all come and say, I need this, I need this, I need this, but they can't they, and they need this, right? So they have to have a proper written document in place. Hey, these are the items. These are some auditing items. Okay, they usually go to the CFO of the company or vice president in the finance department. They don't come to IT. Then, depending on the requirement, the business would say, okay, these are you can get from IT. This is the things we can give from you, from our side. Okay, there's a business and IT. The request is basically they want to make sure there's no fraud, your reconciliation is done correctly, and any intercompany transfer or booked correctly. You're not leaving out any payables, receivables, or income or expenses, and so on. That's all they do. Now, when they go to the premises, the client would say, okay, these are all business items, which I can give it to you. And then these are IT items, which means IT has to give it to you, which they will be shooed away to you guys. Okay. Then they will come to you and say, yes, these are the things they need. Before they come to you, they have to have a list of items, right? Which they will send it to you in advance. And who is the person responsible for this? That will have a detailed list of what they need from you. It could be simple check on the configuration. So they want to go and check the configuration. They want to take a screenshot. They will sit next to you, and then you basically take a screenshot and send it and give it to them. Okay. And a very important thing which I always tell people is auditors are external people, and most of them are idiots. Okay. And they have no clue how SAP system works. And these are a bunch of kids from just from the college, and I challenge a lot of times with auditors. I tell them you don't need this. Okay. The reason is if you give more information to them, they will stuck with this. It's very important. It's very, very important to not to give more information to them. So always I'll go back and ask them what was given last year, correct? Who gave this information last year? Give that as a reference. Then I work on this. Because when you join a company, you are not reinventing the wheel, right? You're just taking over somebody's position, right? Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
somebody has done this work before. Okay. I have seen many times people go crazy when the requests come to them. They call me, they go away, they go a lot of Google searches, and that I tell them, just keep quiet. You're not reinventing the wheel. Somebody has done this, right? If you don't have it, this auditor should have it, right? So ask them, what is given the last year? Just give it to me. Then I will exactly give what was given before. Make sense?
Yes.
So generally, you should not give information more than what they looking for, because if they find something, then they will escalate it, and then that'll become an auditing issue, right? Then it's more work for the company. So that's rule number 2. Number 1, it should be clearly written. I am supporting a guy who has no clear auditing requirement. Somebody caught him in the elevator and telling them he start doing this, and it's completely impossible. I keep telling him it's impossible. He told them that, is it what you want? They said yes. They shake their head. Yes, 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 yes. This is what I want. But there's no way you could do this, right? So that's a very bad concept. If an auditor, this auditing issue, like I said, it is not the first time they're doing it, right? They have to have a clear communication, written document saying that this is what exactly I want. Okay, then they should also give what was done before, who was done it. At least you have some reference. So the reason I did this this is now, the reason I'm doing this now is last couple of weeks I have a consultant who has somebody was asking something. He was focusing on the output. Oh, is it what you want? Yeah. Is it what you want? Is it what you want? But there's no way he could get the report. Right? He showed a Lamborghini. Right? They said, yeah, I like this. Yeah, I want this. But there's no way he could do this. There's no resource. There's no tool. Well, you could build the Lamborghini, but you can't build this in your parking lot. You need a better machines. You need a better shed, right? You need better resources. So number two, you cannot give more information. And number three, there's a time bomb, right? Based on because they're dealing with the transaction data, you have to set right time. They usually come and catch your throat and then say, no, I want this in a week. We have to set a reasonable expectation saying that this is what I can do, and then when you can deliver. Okay, great. So what is, yes.
Yeah, I want to say one thing regarding this. So recently I joined this mosaic company, right? So same situation, I got that, and what I did is exactly what you said. Like, so I asked the previous year reports. So they just forward me the previous reports. So I just redo the same thing, and again, that's it.
Exactly.
A more simple way, yeah.
Great. Number one, get this in written.
So, Anand, did you ask the auditors?
Yeah, you can ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Get the requirement in written, okay? Detail, okay? Which includes the parameters and the output, very important, output. So if you're giving your file output is like 10 fields, you just give 10 fields, okay? No more, no less, right? It could be less, not more than that. Most of the time, if you give less, they'll just take it, okay? They'll just take it, do not give more. That's very number one. Number two, do not give more than what is requested. Okay. And what's the third item? As for reference. Last time. Okay. Now, what is the request you got? Real-time audit request. What is the request you got, Anand?
I got most of them are Z reports.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Get us all the manual journal posted for fiscal year 2009. Let's put 2018. Okay. All the manual with line items, details. Okay. And with line of details, right? So these are the field they want. Okay. And they would say, right, when they say line and details, get us all the manual journals posted for fiscal year 2018 with line item details. What question you would ask? Now you got the records. What question you would ask?
So what's the company code? What is the scenarios?
Okay. Be specific. What are the questions you would ask? Richa?
Jay, did you call me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking,
what the questions you would ask. Now you're going to start working on this, right? I don't think you can work on this. Okay, yeah, this requirement is not clear. My question was, I'm trying to tap into your brain and everybody's brain and say, what is missing here? What else you need? Harman?
I think, like you said, you don't want to provide extra information. This, like just saying, get us all the manual journals posted in that year with our line item details. It's not clear what information they require. We might provide them with everything that they don't even need. So I think I would ask them, like you said, I could, if they've done this before, I'd ask them, can you show me an example of what you received last year? Then that way I can try to replicate that, and I'll know which details are they really looking for. So I mean, if they're not interested in the amount, then maybe I won't give them the amount, or whatever it might be. So
Okay.
I would want them to clarify what details.
Okay. Right. So very important thing, what company code, right?
Okay.
So this company would have multiple company code. For example, Anand was voicing out, right? So he has 18 company codes. So they want to know what company code they want to do, because you cannot extract everything in one file, right? And then always remember, the audit files are huge. They're really, really huge. The outputs are huge. Okay. I was really having challenge explaining to this Lamborghini person who was ambitiously promising to build a Lamborghini. I kept on telling him that the files are really huge, right? You can't do anything with this. I mean, SAP can show in the system like 500, 500,000 line items, but there's no meaningful you can download this. There's no possible you can send it to anybody by any media, right? So all this you have to think about it. So you have to break it down either by period, by whatever it's possible, right? Mostly period 1, period 2, period 3. You break it down, okay? Because first of all, SAP query, the table query itself, it won't be rational and possible if you do not give the right input parameters. Okay. Now, what company code, what fields should be on the report, and what fields, very important, right? Or you can always go back and check what was given, like Harman said, what was given in the last instance should be in the file. And what is the file format? All this, if you have a reference from the last year, you don't need this. You can just look at the file and say, well, this is what they're looking for. You can start working on this. Great. All right. So this is the request. Get us all the manual journals posted for fiscal year 2018 with the line item details. So what do we do now? What do we do now? What's the next thing we do now? You log into SAP. Well, that's just not what. That's not the answer, obviously. Wait a minute. All right. Any inputs? What do we do first? Where do we go? Which directions we take? So like I said the manual journals are usually posted by for a special document type. Okay. So let's say, for example, SA document type, right? What does S stands for? Monsi, what does S stands for?
General ledger.
Right. So SA is a document type, and SA is used for general ledger. Okay, if you know document types, you know this SA document type allows for posting into general ledger, posting it directly into general ledger. So let's say just an example, right? They want more information, but this is just one way of request. So they want all the manual journal entries posted. Great, which is SA document type. Okay, so this company uses SCA document type for all the manual journal entries posting into this, system. Okay, so what do we do now? So my first point is first action. Okay, get the list of SCA document types. or document numbers, right? Number one. Now, what field should be in the file? Okay, let's just come with the files now. So I want company code, fiscal year, obviously, document number, right? Posting date. Okay, you guys going to do this, okay? So I'm not just teaching you and just walk away. Document date, username, what else? Transaction code, and then GL account, line item. Let's put line item first. Unlock line item number, GL accounts, amount in local currency, amount in document currency. What else? Assignment field, text field, anything else? Cost center, service center. What else? Business area. And what else? Posting key. Vendor name. Okay, great. This is enough. So this is the information they need in the file output, right? Right?
Yep.
Right. So this is all the information they need. Now, some people here would know already that this is not in the same table. They come from different tables. Right? Can somebody tell me, Hitesh, what tables I need to go?
BKBF, BSEG, BS, BS, AD, ABS,
No. No, the BKB, BSEC, not BSID, BSAD, no.
because you have customer information. You need, for customer transactions, you can't, you would need BS. What's that? BS80. Let's open items.
So see, BSEG will contain all the items. Okay.
Yeah.
So it will have the vendor account number. It will have vendor customer account number. But I want the name, right? Okay. So I should go to the master data.
For vendor name, you can go to LFA1. Yeah, LFA1, LFB1.
You're correct.
Get
so,
the vendor name.
So let's put the table in order. Okay. What tables you need? So what you can do here, this is from, let's do this. So this is all come from BKPF. Right?
Yep.
And then this guy is assignment field, text field, GL account, blah, 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 posting key, vendor name, customer name. Okay, I'm gonna put BSEG, right? Okay, and then this comes from, when vendor name come from?
LFA1.
And customer name? KNA1.
KNA1.
Right. All right, so how do we do this? Number one, this is just imaginary, okay? If somebody watching it later, after 6 months, 2 years down the line, you all become a super duper consultants. Then you look at the video and say, this idiot was teaching something wrong, okay? So I was just telling you, disclaimer, this is just an example, okay? The SA document type will not have a vendor or customer number, right? Because it's a manual journal entry. When you post a manual journal entry, you would not post a customer or vendor, okay? disclaimer. All right, first thing is we go to the list of SAO document numbers. So what do we do now? How do you access the table? SA16N, right? Now, the first table is BKPF. That's where you will get the document numbers. Okay, watch carefully. This is all you're going to do this. Okay, you're going to do this and send me the file. I'm that KPMG audit stupid guy. All right, so company code. So which company you'll work on? Let's put 3333. Right. Actually, I'm going to put multiple company codes, 1000 to 3000. And then the fiscal year could be, I'm going to work on 2008. Let's see. I think they have more data, 2008, number of entries. Okay, 19,000, that's good. So I'm going to put all the document types, okay? If I just put SCA, let's see, number of entries. 10,284, let's just focus on everything then, all the document types. Now the challenge would be, right, in a real system, okay, where they have millions of entries, you won't be able to directly go to BKPF and get the list of document numbers here. Okay, so the first entry, I don't know how many people still follow, but it doesn't matter. If you do not, it'll make sense. You know, later when you become more familiar in SAP, right? I know some people have just joined last week and even today, like Gopal, he just joined today. Gopal, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, so it'll all make sense. Okay, just follow this.
Sure.
Right, thank you. The document numbers, like I said, it is not possibly to bring out all the information here. So you have to put some number ranges here. Okay, how do you know if I just put, I'm just need all the SCA document type for 2008. Okay, now I could just do this. Okay, I will get a lot of entries here, but 10,000 or 19,000, maybe 10,000, I think. 10,000 plus, right? See, it's taking long time to extract the data, to output the data. Now, in a real time, in 2000, if you just run for a company in real time, there'll be possible like, millions and millions of entries. It is no way you can get the data, right? See, it is still running. So this is only 10,000 items. System is still running, right? It is not going to, it is very challenging. Now, I forgot, I was just thinking something I forgot. So 10,284. And then as per the audit records, we don't need all the information. Only selected information, right? We can hide those information. So number one, what I was trying to say is, if they're doing for SA document type, you can get the number ranges, right? You can put the number ranges, because if you don't put the number ranges, system will take forever and it will go to dump, and you would not know how many entries are posted, how many documents are posted into the system in real time, right? So if you pay a close attention here, any table entries, anything if I go table, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 fields are marked in different color, right? Do you know why?
You can select your data based on these 4 types.
Mm-hmm. What's the answer?
I mean, you can customize your data based on these four fields, like what fields you require.
Right. So there's something called primary key, secondary key. Okay, these are primary keys. In any table, okay, there's something called primary keys and secondary keys. Anything that's highlighted, you see here, that's called primary keys, which means when you're querying a table, it is very important to input or give some information or populate parameters into the primary key so that your data extract will be faster, because they build the database using the primary key, which means there'll be only one entry with this combination. Okay. With this combination of client, company code, document number, fiscal year, there's only one entry. That's called primary key. Okay. The combination of this makes one, and that's called primary key. So that's very important. So you make sure you enter this information whenever you query a table, where it's available. Okay, so if you open, let's say there's another transaction code for this, SC16, right? This is SC16N. If you do SC16, same table, see, there'll be a gap here, right? This is called primary key. Anything that listed in the first rows, right? Then there'll be gap, right? There's a space here. So this is called primary key. So whenever you query a table, you have to make sure you are able to give all the primary keys. Now in this situation, I want the document numbers is a primary key here. So where do we get the document number? Since I know SA is a document type, I can find out the number ranges, right? Because, Kamala? Hello?
Sorry, I was talking without unmuting. Yeah,
Okay.
the document type is assigned to the number ranges.
Correct. So we can go back and look at the number ranges, right? And what's the number it's assigned to and what's the last number it's used, right? So again, you can go to, I'm sure Kamala can give me the transaction. What's the transaction code?
FPN1.
Okay. If anybody has any doubt to anything you want to find out in SAP system using the transaction code, ask Kamala. You know, there's a lot of transaction codes. FPN1, right? Okay. Okay, 1000. All right, so here you could tell, but then again, we don't know what's the document, the number range assigned to the document type, right? So how do we find out? Hemant?
OBA7.
So, okay, see, she's not giving me a chance. OBA7, right? OBA7. Actually, I never tell anybody to remember the transaction codes, but she does. You know why?
I have it.
Yeah. I mean, anybody tell why? I never tell anybody to remember the transaction codes.
To access the system faster.
That's, oh yeah, that is an output. What is the cause? Why? Why she has to access system faster? All right.
Everything.
Right. So SCA is assigned to number range 51. Right. So what do we, where do we go from there now? Monsi, you're able to follow?
Number range information.
So where do you go now? So I got the 51. What do you do now? So in the overall scheme of things. So what do we do now?
Number range information.
Okay.
Yeah, go back and put in the intervals.
Okay. And then?
You find for the 51.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 2008, right? 51, 2008. This is the number range. So unfortunately, they only used 8 documents here.
8.
For one company code though, 1000, right? But here we are digging into more than one company code. I'm going to expand this to 999. Okay. So let's see. It's still the same. I'm going to put this to all the company codes, right? 0001. Still the same.
You can put asterisks, right, Jay, so that it will include even the alphabets, not just the numbers.
Yeah, so Z. This way it's also, you can put ZZZ. The same, 10,317. So I'm going to expand this to 2008 to 2015. Okay. Okay, 64,355. Great. This is what I'm looking for. Alrighty. So the requirement is the company codes are, what company code? The company codes are 001 to ZZZ, right? And then what fiscal year?
2008.
The fiscal year
2008 to 15.
2005 to, I said 2008.
Yeah.
Actually, I could do 2005 as well. Again, this is a good exercise for Excel. You should know Excel, right? No, not know Excel. You should be very familiar with Excel as being a financial consultant. 113,000, great. So 2003 to 2000. I'm going to put 2008 here. Let's see. 59,000. So let's work on that. 2003 to 2008. Okay, the requirement was fiscal year 2003 to 2008. Great. Save. I'm going to save this later. Alrighty. So from 2003 to 2008. Okay. Now this, as you know, I would think maybe my voice is breaking now. Why not? Right. So 51 is fine, but this is just in 2008. We only posted 8 documents, right? In 2005, they posted 80 documents, right? And in 3, we don't have anything. 2003, we don't have anything. 2004 is 1905, right? And so on, right?